Hey there, welcome back to Marketing Matchmaker, the podcast for service-based entrepreneurs who are ready to stop spinning their wheels and start building a business that supports your life, not swallows it whole. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jennifer Tamborski, marketing strategist, systems coach, and your no-fluff guide to sustainable income and marketing that actually works. Today, we're going to dive into a conversation that might ruffle some feathers. And trust me, it's one that you need to hear if you really want to scale your business and reclaim your time. We're diving into the CEO versus the operator. Because here's the truth. If you're still working nights and weekends, if you feel like your to-do list never ends, if you can't step away from your business without everything falling apart, you're not running a business. You're running yourself into the ground. And as someone who's been there and done that, I want to help to make sure that you change that. So let's start this off with defining those roles, because there's a fundamental difference between being a CEO and being an operator. Most service-based business owners start as the operator. And that makes complete sense because in the beginning, you're doing it all. You have to. Delivering services, sending invoices, managing your inbox, creating content, doing sales calls, posting to social media, etc., etc., etc. And if you're still operating like that, when you hit 10K, 20K, 30K months, or when you're 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the line, that's going to be a problem because there is no way to scale a business doing that. When we think about the operator versus the CEO, there is a whole mindset shift that happens. And as someone who's gone through this, I completely understand where you're at. The operator mindset often sounds like, if I don't do it, it won't get done. I just need to push through this week or this month or this year, etc. I can't afford to outsource yet. Let me tweak this funnel just one more time. The reality is you're stuck in the weeds. You're reacting, you're hustling, you're doing. And a lot of times you're doing it on your own, which leaves you in a space where you don't have the bandwidth to actually grow and scale. Whereas the mindset from a CEO sounds like, what's the highest and best use of my time? Who can help me execute this? What systems can I build to make this repeatable? What's our growth strategy for the first quarter? Where are we going in this business? A CEO focuses on vision and leadership and systems, whereas an operator focuses on execution, urgency, and just surviving day to day. Here's the thing though, there's this merger, this blending of the two, where oftentimes you can build a business, act as the CEO, and have a very small team. I am never one of those people who say that in order to reach $1 million, you have to have, this massive team. In fact, I have clients that have $1 million businesses that only have 1, 2, maybe 3 people on their team. It's more about being ready to step back and look at your business as a whole and really assess where you're at and where you want to go. And I will say, the business owner who can reflect and act like a CEO is going to be able to scale to those high 6 and 7 figures and beyond. The reality is you cannot scale from the weeds. It's just impossible. And I say this with all the love and quite frankly, a lot of my own experience. Scaling a business when you are stuck doing everything yourself is impossible. And I can completely hear you right now. But Jennifer, I have to do everything. I can't afford help. Or no one can do it like I do. Believe me, I've been there, my friends. That is exactly how I ran my agency. And to that, I say, you don't need a 10-person team. You need better systems and a willingness to let go of control. When I did that, I was able to grow and scale. Because here's what happens when you stay in operator mode. Your income is going to plateau. Your offers are going to stay unrefined because you don't have the bandwidth to look at how you can make it better. Your content feels rushed and often reactive. And quite frankly, your leads are going to be inconsistent. And it feels like your life is likely on hold. If you are in that operator position and you're trying to scale to 20K, 30K, 40K months and beyond, you end up allowing your business to eat your life, which means that you oftentimes end up resenting what it is you're doing. The fact of the matter is you don't need more hours. You just need to upgrade the role that you're playing in your business. So my question is, why are you still operating in the operator mode? And I want to get real honest with you for a minute. There are 4 reasons I see a lot of smart, talented entrepreneurs really stay stuck in the weeds. You're addicted to being busy. Busy feels productive, even when it's not profitable. It feels familiar. We often start a business in an employee mindset where we feel like we have to work 40 hours a week. But that is exactly what keeps you stuck in worker bee mode instead of stepping into your strategic power. Being an entrepreneur allows us to set our own schedule, and it allows us to systematize so that we don't have to work 24/7, which leads me exactly to, you've never built real systems in your business. If everything lives in your brain or it's buried in 15 different Google Docs, you don't have a business. You have a job that you created for yourselves, which, if that's your goal, is completely fine. But if you're really looking to grow and scale, systems is the way to create scalability. You cannot grow to those 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80K months with doing it on your own without systems. I often run into people who are also afraid to delegate. And I want to preface this by saying there's a big difference between delegation and abdication. Delegation is when you are teaching someone within your team to do what you do in a way that is consistent with your business. Abdication is when you assign it to somebody and you walk away. Oftentimes, what abdication leads to is things being done not your way, which just leads you to frustration. So whether it's a control thing or a what if they mess it up thing, you're holding on too tightly. Delegation doesn't mean letting go of standards. It means making space to grow your business, to go in the direction that you want it to go. And the last thing that often holds you in operator mode is that you don't trust your strategy. If you are constantly trying new tactics, jumping platform to platform, tweaking your offer, it's because you don't have a clear growth strategy. And that uncertainty is what is keeping you stuck in overfunctioning. When I say that, I'm often really talking about that idea that you have this epiphany of what's going to bring in your ideal client and you give it a try. But that try lasts for maybe 30 days. And during those 30 days, you're not looking at what's attracting your buyer. You're not tweaking. You're not adjusting. You're not optimizing that funnel or that sales page. You're just letting it go. By the end of those 30 days, you're like, yeah, that didn't work. What's next? That, my friend, is not a strategy. That's just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. When you design a strategy that really does help you to grow and you stick to it, you are better able to shift from operator into CEO. So, what it actually looks like to get out of the weeds and step into that CEO role is auditing your responsibility. I'd love to do this with my clients. Write down everything you're doing on a weekly basis, every task, every role. Then step back and ask yourself, which of these tasks are truly CEO level? And which ones am I holding on to out of habit or fear? Start by offloading the low effort, repeatable stuff first. That might look like your email, or it might look like setting up automations or some other version of things that you just don't need to be involved with. Then create systems for those repeatable tasks. You don't need a full-time VA right away. And you do need SOPs, standard operating procedures, for everyone out there that doesn't talk in acronyms. Think about onboarding. That is one thing that so often people miss as a simple way to automate, so you're not doing things manually. Or lead follow-up, or client delivery, or content planning. Anything that happens more than once can and should be systematized, and that is going to save you hours of time. Then shift your weekly focus. Carve out at least one CEO day per week where you have no delivery, no admin, no calls. This is your strategy time, your visioning, your planning, you're creating your next level offers. You're looking at your numbers. You're leading your business. It might be you meeting with your coach or your consultant to really dive into all of this. Setting up that weekly focus will really help you to create that long-term vision of your business. And then invest in strategic support. Because the reality is you don't need more information. You need implementation. This is where having a coach or a consultant or a mastermind group is going to help you. It can help you stay focused on the right things at the right times, and it helps you move forward faster, because trying to DIY things, well, let's be honest, if DIY worked for you without outside suggestions, you'd be much farther along than you already are. When you step into your CEO mode, you get to stop operating your business and start leading it. And that, my friends, is when everything shifts, because you're no longer reacting. You're proactively building a business and a system and a model that supports the life you've always wanted. Your revenue then becomes predictable, which allows you to continue to grow and scale. And you have the mental space to create bigger offers, better content, and smarter strategies. You finally have room to breathe and have the business and the life that you've been wanting. This is how you move from surviving to really scaling, from being booked and burned out to being supported, strategic, and successfully, sustainably scalable. So if you're ready to step into the CEO mode, if you've been nodding along thinking, yes, I am in the weeds and I'm ready to get out, you don't need a roadmap. You need a system. You need momentum. And that's exactly where the Booked and Profitable Mastermind comes in, because I get to help service-based entrepreneurs just like you clarify your message, streamline your offers, and build the systems and structures to scale with ease. So it's not about hustling harder. It's about leading smarter. It's about creating a business that sustains and fulfills your life. So if you're ready to step into the CEO world, message me on Instagram at Virtual Marketing Experts or apply for a free strategy session at yourmarketingmatchmaker.com. We'll look at where you are, where you're stuck, and really map out what you need to shift now. Because you didn't start your business to burn out in your inbox. You started it for freedom, impact, and flexibility. And if you're still buried in the doing, the fixing, the chasing, this is your invitation to lead yourself and your business differently. The CEO role is waiting. Let's get you out of the weeds and into the next level. Let's get you ready to grow your business, increase your revenue, and scale your impact. Thank you for listening to the Marketing Matchmaker podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love to hear your feedback. Please head over to Apple, iTunes, and leave a review so we can hear from you. And if you are a coach, consultant, or online course creator who are looking to grow your business, increase your income, and scale your impact, connect with me at yourmarketingmatchmaker.com. I look forward to hearing from you.